Well, hi, kids. Pastor Al here. Thanks for spending a little time with me. Boy, just a couple of weeks ago, it was like below zero, and I'm recording this on a Friday. Man, it was like 50 degrees out, and the sun was out today. I almost went out and took a bike ride. Hey, yeah, no surprise here. You got to get another dog video today. I don't imagine any of you are going to complain about that. You know, one of the things I find about dogs is that they're a lot like people in a lot of ways, and sometimes the dogs do things, and I think to myself, wow, that's just like what people do. I'm going to show you a little example of two dogs, one in particular, who happens to be a corgi, who seems to act one way part of the time and a completely different way another part of the time. Let me show you the video, and I'll let you see. Now, isn't it funny how that dog, when he's face to face with the other dogs, they're like the best buddies in the world. But as soon as they are separated from each other, they're like mortal enemies. And you know what? We're kind of like that too. There are things we would say and do and even think when we're away from somebody or not connected to them that we would never do or say or think when we were face to face. I remember a time I was in high school, and it's a thing I'm not very proud of, where I said some very unkind things about a girl to a friend of mine. And I didn't even really mean them. It was just one of those things, sometimes you get together with somebody and you start ragging on somebody and you say, worse and worse things about them, even if they're not true, even if you don't really mean them. Well, he immediately went and told her what I'd said. And she came over to me with tears streaming down her face, telling me what a bad person I was and how horrible I was to say all those things about her. And I don't think I've ever been so embarrassed in my life, and she was absolutely right. And I learned a very, very powerful lesson that day. I wish I could tell you that I'd learned it completely. But it told me that I should never really say something about somebody to somebody else that I probably wouldn't say to their face. It kept me from being a gossip. Now, when I was a kid, you had to talk to your friends to say something, or you maybe wrote them a letter or called them on a phone. You have a whole different world, because nowadays in the world today, you can say all sorts of things, whether they're mean or not mean, whether they're true or not true. You can say them in a way that literally thousands of people may hear them on the internet, or send them by text message, or send them in an email. In fact, who knows what in the future you're going to be able to do, how you'll be able to say mean, cruel, nasty, untrue things about people in ways that lots and lots and lots of people will hear about it, in ways that you might feel like you're going to be anonymous and they're not going to know it was you, and in ways that will be really hurtful. And one of the reasons why I think a lot of kids nowadays are kind of sad and depressed is because there's a lot of that going on. And people can hurt each other in terrible ways. There's a book in the New Testament called Colossians. It's actually one of my favorite books in the whole Bible. And the Apostle Paul gives some advice to Christians about how they should behave. And he says, therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved by God, clothe yourself with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. And I think if every time you were going to write something about somebody, or say something, or do something, especially online, where the hurt could multiply incredibly, if you said to yourself, Is this compassionate? Is it kind? Is it humble? Is it gentle? Am I being patient? And I'll bet if you asked yourself those things, 99.9% of the times you wouldn't say what you were going to say. You wouldn't be like that corgi who will only bark and snarl when they're behind glass. Think about how badly you can be hurt by someone who does this, and how badly you can hurt. And just remember, don't say to anybody anything that you really, honestly, and truly wouldn't say to their face and wouldn't be compassionate and kind. If you do that, your life will be a lot better. The other person's life will be a way lot better. And I think you're going to make God happy. That is a great life lesson that we can learn. Friends, thanks for spending some time with me today. I'll see you next week. Bye.